Hello and welcome to my channel. This video is about Mod 2 motorbike test. This is the final stage of obtaining the full motorbike license in the UK. And here I am getting ready to start my test. At this point I was being directed by the examiner to follow the route and ride out of the test center. Observations is always the key. Keep looking at your mirrors, shoulders, and then move off. This test center was in Warwick. Be careful, in the test center the speed limit is 10 miles an hour. Make sure you are adhering to the speed limit, as you don't want to fail your test before you even hit the road. So as we rode out of the center, I was asked to take the first right. So observations, mirrors, signal, lifesaver before the turn, and off you go. And when you get onto this road, this is a 40 miles an hour road, so you need to make sure you do your observations and keep up the speed. The road then turns into a 30 miles an hour zone. Just make sure that you're adhering to the speed limits. Nice and easy. Observations all the time. Make sure you keep checking your mirrors. The good tip about Mod 2 test is you need to make sure that you are moving your head a little bit and you're checking your mirrors so that your examiner can see you as well. Otherwise, if you're just looking straight and with your eyes just checking the mirrors, the examiner might not be able to confirm that you have actually checked the mirror. Luckily for me, it was a nice, bright and sunny day. Good start to the morning, and a very pleasant road where you can see there was not much traffic. At this roundabout, I was asked to turn right. So again, observation, mirrors, indicate, and then move into your position before the roundabout. And then in the roundabout, again, keeping it nice and steady speed. Observations, change of indication, and lifesaver, cancel signal. Then observation, hazard ahead, slow down. Observation, and keep up the speed. Make sure you're observing all the hazards, pedestrians, junctions throughout your ride. Now the examiner asked me to take the next available right, as you could have seen in just a few seconds ago. The right before was for the oncoming traffic, so it was like a one-way system. So the next available right for me was actually not the first one, but the one soon after. Small cushions, speed cushions, I would say, or small humps. You are allowed to do either this. You can ride over the cushions, or like I am riding there. You could make sure you do the lifesaver first, and then you can move to either side of the cushion and just swirl around it, making sure that there's no hazard from the oncoming traffic. Now, on this point, there was oncoming traffic, so the safest option for me was to ride over the cushion, because if I had swirled into the left side, then I would have been very close to the parked car. So this is also a bit of hazard, so I slowed down because that garbage truck or trash truck, it wasn't really safe to be right behind it with all the dust and little particles flying around. And at this point I was asked to take left. So again, observations, road's all clear, so there's no reason for you to unnecessarily stop, so I carried on. It's a give way, not a stop sign, so if everything is clear, you've done your observations, you've done your checks, you're good to go. So at this point I was asked to stop on the left where it's safe. The examiner was quite nice, and he made it clear that although it's a drive, but you're okay to park in front of it as long as you park safely. You will be asked to do this maneuver a few times. You will be asked to pull over and then resume riding. It's just to make sure that examiner is happy with your skills, that you can safely stop the vehicle and safely start riding again. So again, turning right here, observations, lifesaver, and off you go. This is a residential area, so you can see parked vehicle on both sides. Take your position 2, which is center of the lane. Keep your speed nice and steady, adhering to the speed limits. this point I was asked to turn left. So I saw a car coming, so it was just naturally obvious to slow down and wait for the car to go first. And the truck or a van gave me way. Just make sure if somebody's giving you way, you still have to make sure that it is 100% safe for you to do the maneuver. Because if they have flashed or they've given you way in some way, and then they move their car or vehicle, it'll still be your fault, because it's the safety is always up to you to make sure that it is always safe for you to proceed. So slowing down for traffic lights. Make sure you have a good distance from a vehicle ahead of you. Normally it is 2 bikes length that you should have a distance. Lifesaver as you swell a bit to the position 3 in the lane. Okay, slowing down for the traffic lights. Observations. Look at your mirrors before you brake. Look at your mirrors again when you speed up again. Now I've been asked to turn right. Again, observation, lifesaver. Use of indicators where required. Park vehicle on the left, so make sure you do your lifesaver as you move to position 3 in the lane. For the information, I did my test around 9 o'clock in the morning. It is the first week of August, which means there are summer holidays or summer vacations in schools, resulting in very less traffic, as you can see in the video, which proved to be quite helpful for my test. At this point the road turns into 50 miles an hour zone. Make sure you do your observation before you start progressing your speed. I did get a minor fault around this area, I think, for not driving close to the speed limit. So I believe I was doing around 42, 43 miles an hour, but as per the examiner, that wasn't very close to 50. I should have been in the 50-mile zone. But nevertheless, it was just one minor that I had during the test. Again, observations, I was asked to turn right here, so check your mirrors, indicate, slow down, and do the lifesaver obviously before you turn right. And at this point I will be asked to pull over. It's the hill start maneuver now. So as you can see, the road is a bit inclined. It's just to test your ability, if you're confident to hill start your motorbike, so you can ride from a position where road is inclined, and you can safely pull out and have good control skills. So good observation, good look over the shoulder, make sure you have a very good view all the way back over your right shoulder before you ride off. Again, as you can see at this point, since there was no car or no other vehicle coming, I didn't have to stop there, and I just carried on after my observations. Keep looking for the road signs. The speed limit is really important. If you see the street lamps street lights, it's a normal 30 miles an hour zone unless it's stated otherwise. But for the other speed limits, such as 20 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour, or in my case it was 50 miles an hour as well at one point, you will have repeaters on your route. So now at this point I was asked to stop where it's safe, and at this point I was asked to do some independent riding. I was hoping that I would be given a destination and then I would just have to find my way to that destination using the road signs, but instead I was given instructions that I have to take second right and then first left and then turn right and stop. So I was given a set of information, set of instruction, and once I understood that, then it was my independent riding. So I wasn't going to a destination, or I wasn't going to a named point. Instead, I was given instructions of what turns to take and where and when to stop. At this point you could see there was no cars coming, but since there were some cars parked on my right, it was safe for me to slow down and actually stop before coming onto or turning right into the main road. Again, safety is the key. Don't feel that you have to just carry on if there's no vehicle. If it's not safe, make sure you prioritize safety. Another tip that I would have is completely ignore the examiner that somebody's following you or somebody's observing you. You just concentrate in your riding. Obviously follow the instruction from the examiner, but don't keep looking at him through the mirrors. Don't keep, searching for him, or you'll just get nervous, and it'll just be not a good thing to do during your test, to be nervous. So now at this point again, I was asked to stop where it's safe, and then I was given further instruction for my independent riding. Again, instead of following a road sign or going to a destination, I was given instructions of what turns to take, what roads to take, and what to do at traffic lights. And the examiner was quite helpful. He repeated it as many times as I asked him, and once it was all understood, we moved on. And like I was saying, you have to ignore the examiner's position in the road. At some points, like for example at give way sign, he might come very close to you, but that's not a sign of you doing something wrong. It's just him trying to not miss you at the roundabouts, for example. So it's because he's observing you, he's riding with you. You don't want to be taking the roundabout and him being, you know, two vehicles behind you, and then it'll just be a start-stop during the test. If you leave the examiner behind, he'll tell you to stop where it's safe, and it'll just take a little bit more time than it normally does. So when he's parked or when he's standing right next to you at a junction, there's nothing wrong. He's just trying to be with you at all times so that you can save time, and he makes sure that you are carrying out your observations and safety from a closer look as well. So once you're stopped at the traffic light, make sure you do your observations. Look at the mirrors, check your shoulders, lifesavers. You don't have to overdo it. Just once is okay. And if it's been a while, when the right lights turn green, then do your observations again before you move on. That's a must. Again, having a good distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. There you could see the examiner's bike right next to me. Again, the point is, it's not that you're doing something wrong. He's just trying to be as close to you as he can safely be, so that you don't miss each other at the lights or at the junction or the roundabout. Again, nice and easy roundabout. The traffic lights turn green before you reach the junction or the roundabout. So it's just a simple carry-on maneuver. Again, lifesaver, and then you carry on in your lane. Stopped at the traffic light, so you do your observations. Again, you don't have to overdo it, just once is fine. And if you've just stopped and the lights turn green, then make sure you do it before you move on, or you start riding again. So at this point I was asked to turn left. Keep a good eye on the traffic lights. It was green for the turning left traffic. So observations, and carry on with the maneuvers. And then this road turns into 40 miles an hour road. Make sure you're driving safely as compared to anything else. So although it's a 40 miles an hour zone, but you can see the trees and branches coming onto the road, so it's safe that you drive or ride at a reasonable speed at this point, rather than trying to get up to 40 miles an hour. One thing about this test centre in Warwick is the test centre, you would see it's to the right and you're on a 40 miles an hour road. So you just have to make sure when you're doing your maneuvers, your observations, indication, braking, and then waiting to turn right, you make sure that you're in a safe place. You don't want to be in a place where cars are just flying past you, and that could become really dangerous. So you give yourself reasonable space and make sure it's safe to turn, and do your lifesaver, make the turn, and you're back in the test center. Again, in the test center, the speed limit is 10 miles an hour. You have to make sure you're observing that. Look out for the cars reversing out, or learner drivers parking in. If you see anybody in front of you carrying out a maneuver, wait for them to complete. And here we are back at the test center. Nice and easy ride, and a good result in the end. That's the end of the test. Thanks so much for watching, and for the information, I passed in the first attempt.